Well, he just did. He just scored 8 points. That's the thing. He had a career.
Every loss, the weight of every loss will dramatically change the season.
Listening to the Sportz Nutz.
Yes, you are indeed watching, not listening to, watching the Sportz Nutz. I am Brandon. Look, that's Shane right there. Oh, I did 2 for 2, and that is Matt is actually having his dinner right now, so please excuse his messiness.
What are you talking about? I'm not eating anything. What are you talking about, Brandon?
Whatever. You know what? And look what I have today, folks. Flag on Matt already. Dang, Matt. Oof. Oh, guys, it is so good to see you guys and so good to be a part of the sports world. Yes, I just shared on Facebook. This is the second to last episode of season 2. Then we take our year-end break, and then the 3 lovely faces of the Sportz Nutz will be back and better than ever. Yes, January 3rd will be our first episode of season 3. With that being said, Matt, how are you doing, sir? I know you're eating, but how are you doing, sir?
Oh no, man! You know I have the little one with me, just trying to coach her some things. But nah, man, I'm good. Been a crazy week, man. You know the holiday weekends, man. For those who don't know, man, I work inside of I work in one of the bigger malls in the United States. So, you know, it's that time of the year. So traffic's crazy. The soccer moms are going crazy. Everybody's going crazy right now. So I'm just trying to survive.
That's right. You know, and guys, when he says one of the biggest, it literally is. It's the Mall of Georgia, which is comparable to Mall of America. Not as much as the square footage size, as far as the volume size, though. The Mall of Georgia is, I think it's the second or third largest mall in the continental U.S. So I would highly recommend you guys, if you get a chance, head on down to Beaufort, Georgia, and check out the Mall of Georgia. It's a beautiful mall, one of the prettiest areas. You're only like 15 minutes away from Coolray Field, which is where your Gwinnett Stripers play. So check them out. And guys, this gentleman right here, Mr. Shane, how we been, man?
Man, it's been good. Got the work week done. Man, we just getting geared up. Finally went out this afternoon. Got the last little bit of Christmas presents done. All they got to do is wrap. Mom and Dad and the boys, they already headed down to Charleston, which I'll be going Monday after work. So late night driving for me Monday. Hopefully get down there before 12 o'clock. But which I should, I hope, but going to try to wait out the traffic in Columbia and all that enough. Man, man, playoffs are fixing to start here tonight.
Literally.
8 o'clock. I'm ready.
Yeah, literally. Real quick, y'all go on and share this with your social media: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Twitch, Boo, whatever other social media is out there. Let's get it going. We have a good episode lined up tonight. You just heard them say, guys, playoffs start literally less than 30 minutes away from the first ever college football playoff game in the round of 12, basically. Yes, Indiana is traveling to South Bend, which is literally, it's a home game for both because it's the state of Indiana versus the state of Indiana. Notre Dame is playing host to Indiana. Cannot wait for that one. Guys, I don't know if you heard the Ravens have waived Dante Johnson and they are sitting Nelson Aguilar. We'll talk a little bit about that. That's kind of a strange situation going on there. Hey, I don't know if you guys heard this, but Garrett Wilson is the target for off-season moves, for trades possibly for Cleveland Browns, the New York Giants, the Kansas City Chiefs, you name it. He is mentioned left and right. We'll talk a little bit about the possibility of the Jets doing a mega implosion Cannot wait to see how that one is going to unravel. Guys, Sandoval, the great pitcher, Patrick Sandoval, who pitched for the Chicago White Sox, has reached a 2-year, $18.25 million deal with the Red Sox. We'll talk a little bit about that. Max Fried welcomed to his new home in the Yankees, and he did not look at all like we're used to seeing him. We'll talk a little bit about that. We saw some good bowl games today, Ohio and Jacksonville State. First game without Rich Rodriguez. We saw Tulane in Florida. We'll talk a little bit about that as well. Guys, I want to start off the whole show, though, with got to be one of the absolute worst stories you will ever hear for an NBA franchise. And I guarantee you guys know exactly what I'm going to talk about. The Charlotte Hornets, they were playing the Philadelphia 76ers, and during a break, they brought a fan down and asked him, what did he want for Christmas? His answer was he wanted a PlayStation 5. Well, they gave him, but I think the mascot's name is Buzz, gave him a present, opened it up, and it was a PlayStation 5 that gave it to him, only to come to find out they took the PlayStation 5 back from him and gave him a jersey. Now, here's where the crazy started going is they were not going to give back that PlayStation 5 until fans started leaking the video and the story about how the Hornets took a present away from a child and gave him only a jersey. They came back and said, after much consideration, it was a blunder of a skit. We ended up giving him the PlayStation 5. Talk about a bad look in general for an NBA franchise. It's $1 billion franchise. I'm going to start with you, Matt. What do you think about this whole notion that it was all just a quote skit? Basically, you get caught doing something, you're gonna have to say, "Oh yeah, we meant to do that," right?
Well, we're talking about maybe a multi-million-dollar franchise here, man. No matter how you slice it, very such a bad look. I guarantee you, somebody got fired that day.
Absolutely, Shane. What do you think?
Man, I think this goes on more than what we think it does because you see a lot of halftime stunts and stuff, especially when you get into say the college football playoffs. We saw it with the Dr. Pepper. They always do the scholarship giveaways during halftimes. I think it happens more than what we see. But now this kind of you get into some trouble here, especially at least give the fans the gift that you're promising them because you're not giving them the promise what you put on the court this year.
Absolutely, and the running joke going around is the poor kid had to stay the entire Charlotte Hornets game. And someone made this claim, and I laughed, and I liked the post. They said, you couldn't pay me enough to be a Charlotte Hornets season ticket holder. And I actually thought it was pretty funny that they said something like that. But in general, let's look around, at this kind of thing. You're right, Shane. It happens all the time. There's always these giveaways that are given out at basketball games, and what was really disappointing is this kid, I'm almost certain, was an underprivileged child, unfortunately, and his parents probably, they probably saved a lot of money and a lot of working extra hours to get him his dream of going to see a basketball game. Look, it's a lot of fun going to a basketball game. I've had the privilege of going to many Atlanta Hawks games. Matt's gone to many Hawks games. And, it really is just something different about going to an NBA game. Well, this kid is getting to come on the court. He's getting his name mentioned. He's getting to meet big-time players. I mean, I really wouldn't call LaMelo Ball like a big-time player, but still, it's pretty cool.
Having a great season.
It's still pretty cool regardless. You're getting to meet an NBA player, and then you're getting a PlayStation 5 from possibly your favorite franchise, and only for them to say, no, it's mine. That's wrong. I feel so bad for the kid, but from what I have read, I can't confirm if it's true or not, but the fans, like the engagement portion for the Charlotte Hornets has dropped like 8.5 to 10% from that little stunt altogether. Matt, have you ever seen something like that in any sporting event you've ever gone to?
Not me personally. I haven't seen that personally. But you read about certain things, man. Like for example, you read about. I remember there was this huge story for the Chicago Bulls. I want to say back in the '90s, where this guy made a half court shot or something like that, and won like a crazy amount of money, and they wouldn't give it to him. And he was trying for months to get it. When Michael Jordan finally got word of it, Michael Jordan was like, "Hey man, get this man his money," and he ended up giving it to him. But that's kind of the only major story I heard like that, man. But I mean, that's like stuff that's like in movies and things like that, man.
I remember that story too, like from the ESPN 30 for 30 or something like that had a skit on it, or like talking about it, and he, from what I'd understood, he was a part of some type of organization who I think it's like a semi-pro basketball league or whatever. He was good at basketball, so he knew how to make the half court shot. And they try to look at people basically who don't know how to play the game at all and just heave and ho. And they were trying to say, no, he had experience. He couldn't get his money. I absolutely remember that. That had to be the biggest head scratcher I've ever seen. What about you, Shane? Have you ever seen or heard something like that in your life?
Man, now I just like where teams do it, where the opposing mascot or something will come up and snatch whatever they had just won, and then their mascot comes in and saves the day, gets it back for the kid or whoever won something. I saw that one, and then there's another one like Pepsi did back in the 80s, 70s, 80s, something like that, where they were giving away a fighter jet or something. And, this guy took it literally, and there was a big documentary on it. I ended up, going down that rabbit hole and watching it, just one of those nights and didn't have anything else to do, just, hey. But, he got them on technicalities. Nobody ever thought that they could get to that point. But, man, and that's what a lot of the situations, I mean, you look at the game day kicks that they do during college game day, wherever they're giving away, millions of dollars now for these kicks. And, it's they pick at random from like the first 250 people there or something like that, that are students. And then we saw it get finessed this year too. People get smart when it comes to these contestants and stuff like that, because I mean, the one guy that won it later in the year, he was actually he was there to get it done, but the girl had won it, and he was standing right beside her and said that he could make that kick, and so she let him have the slot. So, I mean, it's good to see these giveaways and stuff, but for these multi-million-dollar, basically companies being ran, these organizations, they've got to think this through and be, this is what we got to do. And this is, if we're prepared to say it, we better be prepared to give it.
Absolutely. You hit the nail on the head. Don't do it to fans. They're spending their hard-earned money
Absolutely
to come watch, potentially their favorite player or players play. It's entertainment. I understand it's entertainment purposes, but don't be cheap. If you have a fan who has been awarded something like a PlayStation 5, don't even like fake around with it. Just give the daggone thing to them and say, congratulations, thank you so much for being a fan, and just go from there. And Charlotte, I'm sorry, that was not a good move by the Hornets. This kind of adds up to the Charlotte City ownership of professional teams having some trouble. It's obviously well documented with Dave Tepper, what he does to his fans. He knocks hats off of them. He throws drinks on them. He comes to your restaurant if you have a sign that basically tells them to stop stepping where he doesn't need to be going, kind of thing. So now you're talking about the Charlotte Hornets, taking a prize away from a fan. Not a good look for the city of Charlotte, especially if Charlotte is trying their hardest to get, a Major League Baseball franchise, which I got to quickly throw this in. And I did not know this, actually. It's about the Tampa Bay Rays, and I want to hear your thoughts on this too. The Tampa Bay Rays actually, yes, Pinellas County approved the $1.3 billion fund for the Tampa Bay Rays new stadium. However, the owner has now paused it, put on hold, and said, no, I need more money.
Wow.
And here comes the crazy thing. The that is mentioned actually to bring them over. And I thought they had a franchise, but I guess they need a second one. Is Austin, Texas, which is home to. I didn't think they didn't have any. They're talking about moving the Rays to Austin. There has been talks about them moving to Orlando as well. And here is one name that was mentioned. I don't know if it's any really merit. Oakland has been mentioned as a possibility for the Rays to come, obviously just because of the whole situation going on with the Oakland A's.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts? I'm going to start with you on this one, Shane. What are your thoughts on this whole situation that the Rays actually may ultimately leave Tampa Bay?
I mean, they're one of the last few expansion teams that we've seen. And I mean, we saw the Expos leave Montreal and come down to Washington. So it's not unheard of thing, especially in Major League Baseball. I mean, we saw the A's, the Athletics. They actually moved from I forget where they moved from. Was
Philadelphia.
Philly.
They were the Philadelphia A's.
Yeah, Philadelphia A's. We saw the Dodgers move from New York. It's a much more common thing in the MLB. As far as a history of it, we're starting to see it now a lot with the NFL and the NBA. We're seeing it as well. So I mean, it's one of those things that if the money's going to be right wherever it is, that's good. Austin, there's a bunch of teams in Texas, but not in Austin per se. So that would be, Austin, what do they pride themselves on? Being weird. So it'd be kind of weird.
Armpit of America, actually, folks.
Wow.
Yeah, it'd be kind of weird to have another baseball team in Texas when, we're sitting here in the Carolinas and all, and we necessarily don't have anything.
Yeah,
it's kind of on that end. I mean, Virginia, Carolina, North and South Carolina, they really don't have anything. You could say Washington Nationals, but I mean, I know more people from Virginia that are Braves fans than National fans. So
I hate to break it to you, I would never be a Nationals fan because they were the Montreal Expo, and I hated Montreal when I was a kid, and I still don't like the Nationals. I think also what adds to the reason why I don't like the Nationals so much is because they had Bryce Harper, and I don't like Bryce Harper. I've never liked him. Matt, what do you think about this whole situation in Tampa, St. Pete? You've had the privilege to come down to St. Pete when I was there. You've gotten to see the pretty town. You've gotten to experience it. You've seen where Tropicana Field is. So I've shown you it. What do you think? Do you think that this could be the end of the Tampa Bay Rays per se, and then they move somewhere else?
It seems like it, man. I mean, usually whenever cities or franchises that are kind of in the condition that this franchise is in, and you start hearing the rumors, 9 times out of 10, the rumors are they kind of have some kind of validity.
There's a reason why they started, right?
Pretty much, man. They're valid, pretty much, man. So it's one of them things, man. It's gonna be unfortunate for the fans there. But I mean, at the end of the day, man, new franchise in a new location, that's more revenue for Austin, so to speak. I mean, and plus it's change, and people like change in sports. So, I'm on the fence about it. I mean, yeah, it sucks for the people there to and things like that, but also quote unquote new beginnings for the new city that has them. So it's kind of a bittersweet thing. I'm 50-50 on it, but whatever happens, it's gonna happen.
Exactly. And look, the ownership of the Rays, they've never really truly cared about the franchise. They're one of the lowest payrolled teams in all of Major League Baseball. They have the lowest attendance. They have the lowest funded facility right now in Tropicana. Look, it was built in the early 90s. It is a dump. It is a swash bucket per se, ironically, because the Buccaneers play there. But it's not a beautiful stadium. Everybody thinks every stadium is a great stadium. Yes, it is, because they have historic significance to them. But Tropicana Field is not on my bucket list to go check off. I want to go to Tropicana Field to watch a baseball game and run the risk of watching a baseball hit the rafters in the ceiling and that be called an automatic home run. Tampa Bay has always been one of those anomalies as per se with the stadium. If the rumors are true and Tampa does move out, and I mean the Rays leave, I will say that I do know from what I've read is they still will collect the 1.3 billion. However, it has to be repaid over time. It's not going to be here's a $1.3 billion check given back to Pinellas County. It's going to be over time. That hotel motel tax that Atlanta has, Matt. You know about that very well because you hear all the time mentioned on Fox 5 Atlanta or CBS Atlanta. Atlanta First now not CBS Atlanta anymore. So you hear all the time about hotel motel tax and stuff, and it's really sad that. The number one bottom line for everything is obviously that, look, we know money talks. We've known that for a long time. But when you play with something like this and you get money from the taxpayers, you're expected to give it back out basically through the entertainment value. But if you're wanting more than what you've already gotten and you don't want to fork over any money, you deserve to leave. You deserve to be voted out as an owner. Dan Snyder, former owner of the Washington Commanders. That's what happened. He was voted out. You can be voted out. Why can't you? It's just a sticky situation.
It is.
So let's look at something else here. I wanted to touch base on this because it was pretty cool to watch last night. Matt, Karl Anthony Towns, he came back to Minnesota. He had a phenomenal outing. He did a 32-20 game. Yes, and look. If you noticed, if you saw the highlights and everything, the fans, they adored him. They had a standing ovation for every time he scored. He kissed his hands to the fans. Just in general, it was a great love he had for the city of Minneapolis. Matt, what are your thoughts? Do you think that the book is basically now he's written the chapter closed for Karl Anthony Towns of Minnesota? Now he's officially a Nick or what? What do you think about Karl Anthony Towns?
It just shows how inept of a franchise Minnesota is. You trade. First of all, they should have never traded Karl Anthony Towns. The team was just starting to kind of gel with Anthony Edwards at the helm, and Karl Anthony Towns was willing to take a back seat and let Anthony Edwards shine, which is very rare when you have an all-star player and another one comes in and he falls back. That's very rare, especially somebody of Karl Anthony Towns' caliber. But with that being said, I watched the game. It was a lot of feelings tied to it, man. Coach Thibodeau kind of let Cat rock, let him rock a bit, kind of let him play a little bit, and had the offense run through him. Deservedly so. New York, took control of the game. Cat didn't miss from downtown. He was amped up to play. Again, it shows that Minnesota didn't get enough back for him.
That's right.
I think he's
What is Julius Randle even doing right now? I haven't seen any mentions of him. Julius Randle.
Who?
Where was it? Randle, exactly.
Who?
Exactly.
And not to discredit Julius Randle, McDonald's All-American, University of Kentucky, was great. Drafted, I think, 8th overall by the Los Angeles Lakers. One of the few players on the team Kobe respected, actually. But nothing past Julius Randle. Heck of a player. He's just not Karl Anthony Towns. He's not going to bring what Karl Anthony Towns brought, getting rebounds and, being a presence in the post on defense. And plus that twin tower they had with Gobert and Towns I just think they were I think they needed about another year to gel, man, to fully gel. But unfortunately, that's not what happened. We move on. Karl Anthony Towns came back and, quote unquote, crushed the buildings in Minneapolis. So,
you know what he reminded me of? And then I'll go to you, Shane. It had Cat stayed there and had, like you said, one more year, Matt, him and Rudy Gobert. I could have seen them being like a David Robinson and Tim Duncan 2.0.
Whoa.
And I'm saying that. I'm holding that true.
Whoa.
Reason being is Gobert was the Admiral 2.0, and Cat is the Duncan 2.0. He had
I'm sorry. No. This is not going to. You comparing Gobert to David Robinson is worse than me comparing LeBron
Possible.
to Eric Bledsoe. It is. I'm not letting that slide. That's not sliding. No. Rudy Gobert is nothing like David Robinson.
He has the potential. Your word. he has the potential?
No, absolutely not. Dave Robinson scored 71 points in the NBA game, although it was just to, lead the league in scoring and go over Shaq at the end of the year. But still, Dave Robinson was a force. The only reason the Spurs even got the first pick in the draft and got Tim Duncan was because Dave Robinson was hurt the year prior. That's the only reason they got.
I'm going to give it. I'm going to stand by it. Rudy Gobert has the potential to be like a David Robinson 2.0. And Karl Anthony Towns has the potential to be like.
I'm gonna do what you did, David. If you're out there, I had nothing to do with this. Trust me, we just threw like 8 flags at Brandon over here. We just threw 8 flags. I had nothing to do with this. I ain't in it, and I ain't in it.
So just so you know, David Robinson, Tim Duncan, this is the person who mentioned that to me in the text.
Okay.
The text.
Okay.
Shane, what do you think? What do you think about this whole situation? Karl Anthony Towns, he basically was the second face of the Minnesota Timberwolves. The first one obviously was Kevin Garnett for a long time. Karl Anthony Towns was basically the face of the franchise. He's traded. Now he comes back. He has a phenomenal game, and obviously we're trying to figure out what went wrong basically in Minnesota.
Well, I think Minnesota got Randall. I think because Randall, until this year, the way Cat's been playing, Randall, was a good. He actually gave a better outside threat as a big man than say Cat did at the time. And I think that's what they wanted to play into. If Cat would have played the way he did last year for him, I don't think they ever give him up. But kind of you saw the kind of new face of the franchise. Cat is getting up there in age. You saw Ant-Man come in, and he's a young star, budding. I think that at some point you got to realize it is a business decision, and what can you bring in and what can you sacrifice to make the team better and possibly free up money to get other options since you've got some that hadn't worked out so far. It's all business decisions. But now if he would have, like I said, if he would have played last year, they would have never gave him up. But you've got certain teams run certain styles of offenses that run better. You look at New York, the way that they are, kind of fit. They've got a heavy backcourt, and and then they've got somebody that can score and rebound down low with Cat now. You already had your rebounder and your defender and Gobert down there, so you only had one in the backcourt, so you needed to kind of spread out that shooting a little bit more. That's why you thought to go ahead and make that trade for Randall, because percentage-wise, he is a better outside shooter than Cat was.
Absolutely,
I get the move.
You hit the nail on the head.
I get the move, but there's always an up notch when it comes to returning to a team that drafted you, solely to be that one of the superstars for that team. And Minnesota's not been a city to treat people that left harshly. You saw the reception they gave KG when he came back. So it's one of those things. You respect the players that moved on because the teams moved on from them. Not necessarily you don't like the players that leave for themselves. We'll leave those names out of it. But hey, I'm gonna keep my talents here.
Absolutely, and I completely understand. You're right though. It's hard to say goodbye to beloved players. Matt, I'm sure you can attest to what I'm about to say. When Dikembe left Atlanta, I think he went to Houston or Philadelphia first. Which one was it? Do you remember, Matt?
He went to Philadelphia first.
He went to Philadelphia. I was heartbroken. I was devastated. Shane, I don't know if you know this, but Dikembe Mutombo was my all-time favorite player. Yes, so when I was 15 years old, I got the privilege to meet him when they were playing. They were building Phillips Arena. They had to play at Alexander Memorial Coliseum where Georgia Tech plays. And I remember Mom got me to go on to the court before game for the pregame huddle. and then also for the post game. And Dikembe gave me an autographed basketball, which Matt has seen. I have a Dikembe Mutombo autographed basketball, a jersey, a hat. I have a poster, everything that there could be. And the jersey that I have signed is actually in a frame. My girls are not allowed to touch it. They will never go out of this household. When I die, my girls will get it, and they can never sell it because Mutombo was a legend in my eyes. And, when he left, I hated saying goodbye. So every time, and I'm sure people in Denver still feel a sense of like love for Mutombo because that was where he first played was Denver. Then he came to Atlanta. And then he went to Philadelphia. Then he went to Houston. Where else did he go, Matt? Do you remember where else he went?
I think Houston was his last stop, man. I mean, because he went to Philadelphia, he went to the finals with Allen Iverson.
Yep.
And then after that, I'm pretty sure he made that stop in Houston. But I think Houston might have been it.
Yeah, because I can't think of any other teams. People who are watching, let us know if you know if Mutombo went anywhere else.
He was drafted in '92. Let's see. Yeah,
he didn't go back to Denver, did he, for like a little short stint?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
That would be the only thing that kind of sticks out to me. I don't think he went anywhere else after Houston, but for some reason I want to say like he went back to Denver, but I'm not going to say that for sure.
But you hit the nail on the head though.
Yeah, he was already he was already like 25 when he got drafted already.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Dikembe is, a fan favorite throughout the entire basketball world, throughout the entire sporting world. He not only was he an ambassador of the game, he was a humanitarian ambassador. He did so much for the world. He genuinely cared about people. He was a people person. He was a great ambassador of this world. He is forever missed. Mutombo, we do miss you. But you hit the nail on the head though, Shane. When it's hard to say goodbye to players you love. I mean, heck, I remember when Peyton Manning was basically kicked to the floor when he was told he needed to leave Indianapolis and go. He went and played for Denver. And what does he do? He takes Denver to the Super Bowl and they win the Super Bowl. But obviously, I hated saying goodbye to seeing him playing at Indianapolis. But it is a business. We do see. Great players like Karl Anthony Towns, who did such great things for one franchise. Franchises, they do move on. They think newer, younger, fresher is obviously the way to go. And it is part of the solution. However, it's not the only solution because you've seen teams who, and there's an example of right now with the Detroit Pistons. They're going left and right for every young player there ever was to play for the G League. And Detroit can't seem to get over that hurdle yet. I don't know what's going to take to rebuild the Detroit Pistons to the bad boys of the 80s and 90s again. But you're right. It's hard to say goodbye on that stuff. What do you think, Matt?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you, man. I agree with you. It's just one of those things, man. One of those things that you just got to kind of, I don't know how to express it. It's just,
it's hard.
It's just one of those things, man.
It's hard. You're absolutely right. Look, all right. So let's move on to the next topic because I really want to talk about this one. This is an interesting situation. My brother-in-law said, Zane. Excuse me, about said. Zane is a very big Baltimore Ravens fan. I think he's still a season ticket holder, if I'm not mistaken. And my sister-in-law, who Felicia, we love you. She used to work for Ronnie Stanley, who is the offensive lineman. I believe he's the tackle or the guard for the Ravens. He's a really good lineman, right? Well, I asked Zane. I said, Zane, why did you guys do this? And he's like, what do you mean? I said, Dante Jones. The Ravens, obviously, from what I understand, he's had a very rocky relationship. I think it was 7 weeks with them. Matt, what do you think? Who do you think? Because they acquired him from the Carolina Panthers on the 29th of October, and I think he was suspended or something like that because he basically acted out. What are your thoughts on this? on this whole situation?
Well, I mean, the Ravens are trying to build a culture there, man, with Lamar. And since Lamar's been there, he's always had the kind of receiver like Hollywood Brown or Zay Flowers, like he has now. Odell Beckham, was Steve Smith there when Lamar's first started?
Yeah. Steve Smith was there. Absolutely, he was there. I remember it too.
Those are the kind of receivers that they've given Lamar, or that he's had. I guess those are the kind he feels comfortable with. Deontay Johnson isn't a bad player. He's a solid player, man. I'm pretty sure he was with the Steelers before he went with the Panthers. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know what happened. Like I said, it's tough for me to speak on it because I don't know what exactly happened. I just know that he wasn't fitting in with their culture there and was doing things that he shouldn't have been doing. So I'm pretty sure they've given him chance after chance. And this is just one of those things where you just have to kind of cut. You have to take your losses. You got to take your losses. I'm pretty sure I don't know what they traded for him to get him. I'm pretty sure it was a low round pick.
I'm trying to look right now, actually.
I'm pretty sure it was a low pick. But sometimes you got to cut your losses, man. And the Ravens, they're the type of organization where they're not trying to, pussyfoot around, so to speak. I mean, they have one of the longer tenured head coaches there, in Harbaugh. So I mean, they're trying to win a Super Bowl, man. That's the mission at hand. I think they need everybody on board. You brought Derrick Henry in, and you're trying to win. So
this is what ESPN has written on here, Matt. I'm reading it verbatim. Johnson's time with the Ravens amounted to 1 catch, 6 yards receiving, 39 snaps, and a lot of frustration. He was suspended by Baltimore for 1 game after he refused to play December 1st against the Philadelphia Eagles. It was then excused from team activities this past week. So it sounds like there was a lot of tumultuous stuff going on with them. And then I'm looking also here, and Nelson Aguilar, he's not playing. They're pretty thin with don't they play I think they play the Pittsburgh Steelers this weekend, don't they, Matt?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a rocky situation, and I don't know. I mean, what do you think with this whole thing, Matt? And I'm going to ask you too, Shane. What do you both think about this possibility of? I think they're going. Are they? First off, I asked you, Matt. Are they? And Shane, do y'all know? Are they traveling to Pittsburgh or are they playing host?
I'm not sure. I think they might be traveling to Pittsburgh.
Well, even then, that's going to be even more a rocky because those two are rivals. I've never had the privilege of going to they don't even call it Heinz Field anymore. I don't think whatever they call Pittsburgh Steelers Field. Yeah. I don't know what they call it, but going there, that's going to be hard.
But you also look at it though, hey, the Ravens, off of what we saw last night between the Chargers and the Denver, the Ravens are in a wild card spot right now. You got to remember that. They've got to put things together to get into the playoffs. You see, the Bengals, if they had a defense, then they would be right there with them as far as in contention, which I think they're still an outside shot for the wild card spot. Take a few things to happen, but that team, all together, they've got to get wins, and so, like Matt said, bringing in that culture, they've got to stick with that culture that's put them there in that spot, especially with Lamar and the way that offense needs to run to be able to make a run in the playoffs. So, and to even get to the playoffs, you're going to have to make that run. So it's good that they made the decision now. So that way
what it sounded like he was toxic is it really comes down to he was a toxic individual. So I'm looking at the standings right now for the AFC, which is the conference the Ravens play. Obviously, you have the Chiefs, who it says here they're 13-1, and you got the Buffalo Bills, who are 11-3. The Pittsburgh Steelers, they're currently in the 3 position. They're 10-4, but then you go and you look at the 5 position, which I guess that's the other wild card, or the first wild card. Baltimore is 9-5. So this game for Pittsburgh and Baltimore this weekend, that's going to be a really big game. I mean, it's determining who goes into the number 3 seed and basically has the reign supreme over the remainder of the division, and we'll talk about another team in a minute. And Matt, I know what you're about to say when I just said that, talking about another team in a minute. So, obviously it's a very fluid situation. I'm glad they got whatever toxicity they have with Deontay Jones. We'll see how it goes. But then I wanted to talk real quick about Garrett Wilson. He's been mentioned for all over basically as a trade, and as recently as this morning, Stephen A. Smith said that he was a potential landing spot for Garrett Wilson to be traded this offseason, I guess, is the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't know much about if it has any real merit. What are your thoughts on that, Matt? Do you think Garrett Wilson could get traded from the Jets? Do you think that there could be a super implosion coming for the Jets?
Well, first of all, where did the Chiefs keep getting all this money from? Well, Patrick Mahomes' contract, first and foremost.
All right.
And all
like $700 million contract.
All those Pro Bowl offensive linemen they got, man. And they just pay Chris Jones. Where are they getting this money from?
Well, they don't spend it anywhere else that we've seen. They let Chris.
That's true.
Let people go that want money at other positions.
Absolutely.
That's true.
But like seriously though, Matt, do you think like there could be this like mega implosion happen and the Jets just start over again?
I think they're going to give him one more season. I think they're going to give Aaron Rodgers one more season. Breece Hall will be better. Garrett Wilson will be better. I think they're going to keep that core together one more season with Devontae Adams. They kind of have to. This is the first season Aaron Rodgers has really played and is coming back off of an Achilles injury. So, man, they're going to give it another shot. And I think that if it doesn't work out this time, then the implosion won't happen. But I don't think the implosion is going to happen right now.
What do you think, Shane? Do you think that there is this super implosion that's going to happen for the Jets?
The only way the super implosion happens is if they decide to move from Aaron Rodgers. They decide to move from Aaron Rodgers, then they'll be looking to get draft capital to move up to get a future quarterback for themselves. If you're going to implode, trade out, get as many draft picks as you can, especially with the receiver who has been your number one and is that number one in everybody's eyes right now. You give it next year, you keep A-Rod and Devontae and all that core together, everybody's worried about Wilson, and, Devontae could be the leading receiver next year because of that. Your stock goes down based on your performance, and this year your performance has been, the number one wide receiver. So, if the Jets are looking to implode and rebuild for the future, the trade stock right now is good for him. So they would make that move. But, if they want to keep that core, that they have together, then hey, that's one thing that they'll have to decide on some pieces, because their offensive line and defensive line needs to get better. That's one thing that a lot of people don't talk about in the recent years. The Jets defensive line that was so great has been moved around through free agency and draft trades and all that kind of good stuff. So, it all depends on what the front office wants to do. But Garrett Wilson right now is a wide receiver number one. And he'd have that trade stock and value at that point. So it's up to the front office of the organization to figure out what direction they actually want to go.
You're right, exactly. I want to quickly touch this because we tease on it. Matt, Shane, you're actually wearing the team name right there on your hoodie. We've heard nothing from. All we've seen the entire offseason so far is minor league contract this, minor league contract that, trade for minor league contract this. That's all we're doing, right? For the Atlanta Braves. Well, another name has been taken off of the pitching free agents. Left-hander Patrick Sandoval and the Boston Red Sox. They have agreed on a 2-year, $18.25 million contract. Now, if you don't recall, Sandoval underwent Tommy John surgery in June. He's actually not supposed to come pitch until maybe the second half of 2025. But Boston saw something that I guess no other team could, and they took him. I don't know. I got to ask you this, Shane, because you're wearing the name right there. what is going on with why is Atlanta not making any significant splashes in the free agent market? I mean, we don't know much. Obviously, Alex Anthopoulos, he's very quiet, but what do you think, man?
Hey, man. I'm a baseball guy, so I trust the process. And right now, I'm kind of with them. Seeing what's going on because you look at it. There's a lot of money tied up in these core contracts that they still have right now. Especially with position players, pitchers. You can get pitchers through free agency trades, draft. That's one of the biggest commodities. One of the biggest things that you've got to sign though is that number one starting pitcher. So, it says a lot of stuff on how Spencer's coming back from his injury and stuff like that for them to not kind of pony up with the Yankees and offer Fried the money, but they do have a lot of money tied up in contracts with over the next like 6 years. With a lot of the core group of position players, which, ultimately give you that run into the playoffs and into the World Series. Pitching depth is what wins you those games. Right now, you see a lot of it, with the minor league contracts and stuff. It reminds me a lot of the older style Braves, hey, we're going to keep these core position players, and we're going to piece together a pitching staff, with 2 or 3 great ones, and be able to do it by the pen. What I would say, hey, whoever we got back there, next man up mentality. It's baseball. It's a game of numbers, and if you can get them to put the ball in play, not out of the ballpark, and you're not putting them on base because you're walking them. Hey, your defense is going to make plays if you got the payroll sitting back there, behind the pitchers. So that's one thing. I'd like to see a little bit more from Double A with the with the aggressiveness going after some of the pitchers. But I believe the way it's going right now is look hard into the trade deadline. You're going to see a bunch of pitchers and great players that Double A has been known for getting into. Atlanta around the trade deadline that obviously pushed them over the edge, like we saw with Jock Peterson. I think that's kind of the direction that they're heading. Kind of stay quiet in the free agent market right now because, hey, I mean, you're talking, $200-300 million for pitchers, that are young and have a career ahead of them. That you'd be willing to pony up at this point. But right now with Strider and Sale, Swollenback, you've got a bunch of young pitchers that pitched this past year that are proven and have the ability to do great next year. So I say look around the trade deadline. Oh, if I can talk. For them to make moves this year and possibly put them in the same situation that they were in 2020.
You're right, absolutely on that one. And I it's funny you just mentioned money and everything with regards to. So here is a crazy stat that I'm reading here right now on ESPN. A record 9 MLB teams were over the luxury tax threshold for 2024. It was according to a memo sent to teams on Friday, and it was attained by ESPN. The result was a record $311 million paid in penalties, led by the Los Angeles Dodgers, who are paying a whopping $103,016,896. And then the New York Mets were the next at $97,115,609. The Cubs were taxed the least, paying $570,309. So here are the 6 other teams, along with their penalties, who had competitive balance tax, which is the tax, luxury tax. They had a bunch mentioned here. The New York Yankees, $62.5 million. Philadelphia Phillies are $14.35 million. The Atlanta Braves, $14.02 million. The Rangers at 10.8 million. Houston Astros at 6.4, and the Giants at 2.4. That's like an alarming. But I'm not going to play dumb on this one. We know why the Dodgers and Mets are mentioned on there. I mean, I don't know if you guys saw this like ridiculous stat, right? The Dodgers are the Bobby Bonilla 2.0 project, basically. And Shane, I don't know if you saw this too. The Dodgers are going to be have like what $700 and some odd million in deferred payments until like what was it, like 2080 or something like that. Did you see that number, Shane?
I know it's a lot. I know it's actually more than it just in deferred payments. Than I almost want to say half the league's annual payroll.
That's crazy.
I mean, that's just kind of the disparity that you have when you don't have a salary cap and stuff like that. So, I mean, the Dodgers have spent money. I mean, the Mets are number 2 in payroll.
Yeah, number 2, which is crazy to think because the Mets don't do anything.
Well, here's the sad thing: the Mets are still paying.
Bobby Bonilla.
Probably still going to be paying part of Soto's deal, and they're still paying on Scherzer. Yep. So, I mean, the Mets have made some idiotic decisions here lately, trying to get star players in. Which the one good thing about them being in the NL East with Atlanta is Atlanta's seen that and seen those mistakes. So that's one good thing, but it's ridiculous when look at the records of these teams that are paying the luxury tax, and at that point you only look and see a handful of them that were actually playoff contenders last year.
Mm-hmm.
So it's funny how you see it, but it also shows that even if you have the highest payroll, doesn't mean that you're the best team out there.
That is true, and the Dodgers. They did basically they bought their World Series this year. I think they did it in 21 as well, or 20, whenever they wanted that shortened MLB season. But this year is an example. The New York Yankees, up until this year, I think it was like 19 years or something like that since they had played in a World Series, and yet they spend and they spend and they spend. And it's funny, we talk about the Yankees. Max Fried, and Shane, you mentioned just a moment ago. Max Fried, he signed that 8-year, $219 or $220 million. I don't even remember, but did you guys happen to see his press conference though? He looked like he wasn't happy, like he was miserable. It was almost like it was scripted. And then I asked this question because someone posted it too. Why is it that the Yankees require all their players to be freshly cut, shaved, and wear tight uniforms? I've never, and this guy just ran 97 yards for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish on a touchdown. I don't know if you guys saw that. It was 97 yards.
Yep. But after Indiana drove it down the throat.
Yeah, Indiana down, and they did. 98 yards. But Matt, do you might know the answer, Matt? Why New York has always been let's get a clean cut and tight ass uniforms?
Absolutely. It's because New Yorkers hold themselves to a higher regard than everybody else. That's just how a lot of them think, man.
I like that regard.
Look at Shane's reaction.
I like that regard instead of standard.
Exactly.
Good wordplay there.
Exactly. I mean, being having to deal with a lot of people from that great state of New York. I mean, being from New Jersey myself.
He's a Yankee, so just so you know,
from New Jersey. But
he's a Northerner.
Yeah, man. So that's just how it is, man. It's just the Yankees just kind of same thing with the Knicks. I mean, same thing in any sport, any New York team. They know that they're the mecca, of the sports world, so to speak. So are the mecca of entertainment or Broadway. That whole
yeah.
It's just that whole aesthetic, man, that New York sports teams and franchises have. They just hold themselves to a higher regard. That's pretty much the gist of it, man. I mean, it's nothing special. It doesn't translate into winning championships. No. They might have great seasons, but it doesn't translate to winning championships. But that's just what
what I told my friend, our good friend Matt Brian Kajiyama. I said I feel like New York in general is where people go for their careers to die. And people, he was like, "What do you mean?" And I go, "Well, let's look at one particular individual. Giancarlo Stanton was doing phenomenal in Miami. He just signed that $311 million deal. Yep. And what does New York do? They entice him over. And honestly, guys, since Giancarlo Stanton has been a Yankee, have you really heard him talk about him being MVP caliber or whatever?
He's been in the news more lately because they signed Cody Bellinger, whose wife is his ex-girlfriend.
Yes, his ex-girlfriend. I saw that. That was crazy.
That's yeah, it's crazy lately.
Yeah, but again, example, and as far as I can remember, so I would say my senior year in high school, 2002 on, I've only seen two players really be a part of the Yankees organization to ride or die. Everybody knows the first one is Derek Jeter. He was the captain, but then the other one I've seen only is Aaron Judge. But who's to say he's not going to get sick and tired of not getting to that hurdle, not winning the championships, and always spending, 60, 70, 80, 90, $300 million a year on potential, but never getting that potential. And, money will talk. But I joked with Brian and I said, dude, Brian, I would not even be surprised if, say, in the next 2 to 3 years, the Yankees, they haven't gotten it done. They still have the same issues that they have. He ultimately gets traded to either the Dodgers or something like crazy happens, and he goes to the Dodgers. The Dodgers win another World Series with him, and it'll just be, icing on the cake. What do you think, Shane?
He's constantly in the top, 5 of jersey sales. They've got a whole section in that stadium, of the what they call it, the bench seats or whatever, all rise for him out there. That's the marketing ploy that he is, and I mean, he's one of the better, athletes that we've seen. I honestly think that Baltimore is in that caliber. Yeah, oh yeah, the O's, yeah, they're right there. They're right there with New York at the top of the AL East. We'll see what Boston does with all these signings that they've had. I think that Baltimore has a good shot to be that league leader. They've done it the complete opposite way of New York. Instead of buying their talent, they've drafted their talent. But
I was just about to say that. Didn't they start up from little by little? They were drafting up and building their farm system up, weren't they?
Yeah. Within the past, you look at it 7 years or so.
Who we should get on here to come and talk about the Orioles, and I know he watches once. My brother-in-law is Zane. Look, Zane, you're a Baltimore Orioles fan. I don't know really anything about the Baltimore scene other than I've been there for your wedding. Can you maybe let us know about what is do what?
What'd you say? Miambo sauce.
What is that? I don't know what that is. Sorry.
Oh man, is
it like Old Bay or whatever?
No. It's their own kind of sauce flavor, kind of profile that they do with wings and stuff up there. That and soft shell crab sandwiches.
I will tell you
for that.
When Cassie and I went up for Zane's and Felicia's wedding, we had the crab. Everybody says Baltimore is known for their crab, right? So I had the crab cakes, and I have an issue with fishy tasting fish in general, like salmon or whatever, right? And we had the crab cakes. I actually did not like them. They were too fishy for me. But I don't know what it's like in the Baltimore scene, other than Zane is a Ravens fan, Zane is an Orioles fan. So if Zane, if you're watching, let us know what is the vibe around Orioles, Baltimore Orioles, and Baltimore. Does Baltimore even have an NHL team? I don't even know, Matt. Do they?
I'm not sure, man.
I don't even know what Baltimore has as far as the sporting. I'm gonna really have to do some research on that. No, okay, I'm looking here right now. So the team that's closest would be I'm guessing would be either the Buffalo Sabres, the New Jersey Devils, the Capitals, or The Boston Bruins. That's the only. I mean, you do have the Philadelphia Flyers and Rangers. Okay,
Yeah.
I guess they have a lot. In the New York Islanders, they're based in New Jersey, I believe. But yeah, Baltimore. So I don't know what it's like for the Baltimore sporting world. So Zane, please, if you get a chance and you're watching, let us know, man. We'd love to hear a little about it. All right, we saw a couple good games today in the bowl world.
One good
The
game.
first.
One good game.
Well, all right. So I saw two. I'm watching a third one. And I want to know which one was what you thought was a game. I'm talking about the Ohio Bobcats, Jacksonville State Gamecocks. I think they said something like this is Rich Rodriguez's first game not being on Jacksonville's sidelines or whatever. So I happened to just kind of like I had it on in the background. And I started watching it, and I saw a player from Ohio like they were doing a run, and he body slammed the tight end for Jacksonville State, and it caused a big mess. There was like a fight or scuffle on the field. It was really weird. Jacksonville State was down like 27-7, and they made it pretty interesting. Ohio ended up winning 30-27. So you got to tip your caps to Jacksonville, and this is their first ever Jacksonville State's first ever bowl game. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know. This is like only if it's not, it's their second one, and they were in the FCS for a long time. So it's pretty cool to see, Jacksonville State getting there. But then I watched another game, and this game, I feel bad. Our good friend Matty Hudek, who is the SI beat writer for Tulane, unfortunately, Florida came and they conquered. They demolished Tulane in the Gasparilla Bowl, and I think it was like 33-7 or 33-8. It was not really good competition for them, but they said that this was a surprise for Florida because they won the end of the season, winning 4 straight games and bringing in momentum for the 2025 season. So now we're watching here. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. They saved their coach's job pretty much, man.
Yeah, they sure did. Absolutely. And so now there's a game that's going on right now, and it's Indiana and Notre Dame. Indiana just recently gave up a 98-yard touchdown run. I'm going to ask you first, Shane. How badly does Indiana lose this game in your eyes?
From what I've seen, other than one play, Notre Dame hasn't moved the ball.
I agree, and I think so. I said Indiana's going to win.
Indiana's been the only team that's moved the ball so far. I think that big home run play was a play coming out their end zone. Indiana sold out on a zero blitz, and they lost their tail. Always on major runs like that we see, in the NFL, college, anything like that, you always look. It's almost always a zero blitz, and somebody shoots the wrong gap, or somebody gets taken up by an extra block, or something like that, and it springs them, and all you got to do is beat the second level of it. I mean, you're running full speed, and they've got to change directions to come at you once you hit the outside. They've lost the angle, so all it is a foot race at that point.
Exactly.
I think I'm still, my heart wants to go with Kurt in this game. Old Segnati. I think that they can get it done. Their defense is completely underrated. And the last time that we've seen them in a cold weather game, their offense was kind of slow to start, but came alive. I mean, Rook threw 6 touchdown passes against Purdue in the last game when they were in the snow.
I remember that.
So we see that, but I think it's going to be a knockdown drag out here towards the end of the game, but I think Indiana pulls this one off by 3.
So I thought, and I told Matt this earlier too, I think Indiana is going to win like 28-24. It's going to be a really close game. Notre Dame, and I want to ask you both, in your eyes, what has Notre Dame done this year to really say they deserve to be in the college football, other than going 11-1, but they didn't really ooh la la anybody, right? But what in your eyes do you think they did?
Same question that you could say to Indiana. I mean, Indiana's one game was Ohio State.
That's right, and they got blown out.
Yeah, so you look at it. They paired these teams, to see, hey, you haven't shown us anything. Here you go. Show us something on the field tonight.
This question, I think, is going to be for you, Shane. Trey asked, which prospect is better for the Carolina Panthers, Mason Graham or Abdul Carter? Those are two names mentioned mentioned the most as potential draft picks. What do you think, Shane?
Man, I'm not sure, with the Panthers on how they're going to go about it. I know that they need some help, especially on the defensive side with the defensive line, which they did that to themselves by getting rid of Brian Burns and all that. It's almost, as Matt mentioned earlier with the Ravens, the culture thing coming around. You look at it and, maybe Tepper saw this from Johnson. So that's why he got rid of him. Maybe he saw, problems, maybe possibly coming from Burns or something. So, we'll see. A lot of times the front office makes moves. It takes 2 to 3 years to see the results on the field. But I think the Panthers need to go heavy in the draft on a good defensive lineman, be it an edge rusher or with the possible spot that they're in. There's a bunch of good offensive linemen out here, especially tackles this year. So I think that's with the stock that we've got, later in the draft to get some of the skill positions, which normally kind of produce better later in the draft if you look at it statistically throughout, everybody's career and stuff that they have in the NFL. But you're gonna have to think in the trenches first.
I like that. Real quickly, I want to mention, so our good friend Rob here, Rod is Coach Rod for the South Carolina Ravens. We are the official podcast of the South Carolina Ravens. This link that he has provided in the chat is actually because tomorrow evening they are at the Shrine Bowl of the Carolinas. It's tomorrow, December the 21st at 12:30 p.m. Make sure you guys get your chance to tune in and watch. This is when, remember, Andre and Rod both said that they were looking for solid talent there from HB, historically black college and university. So check them out. The Shrine Bowl of the Carolinas. That's what it was. I actually had a text Matt say that's what was going on. Go ahead.
I got a good note on that Shrine Bowl coming. Cutter Woods, commit for South Carolina, was elected to the Shrine Bowl as a quarterback. We see, Marshall had to back out of a bowl game because of the transfer portal and losing coaches and stuff like that. We see some teams, or players decide to sit out during bowl games because of the NFL, questions and, possibility of injury. This man is committed to South Carolina and said that he's going to forego his high school all-star game to go watch the bowl practice that they're currently going through instead of playing in the game. It's transferring down to high school from college, from the NFL. It was college this past year. Now it's transferring down to the high school ranks. How much more are we going to see of this before we get sick of it?
You're right. So I do want to quickly mention, Matt, we had Coach Phillips from Roswell High School on. I got a notice today that their head football coach gave this, and here's the picture of it. It was like a thank you for something. I'm like, what is that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm going to try and zoom in. I don't know if you can see. He is officially now the head football coach of Dalton High School.
Oh, wow.
Chris Pruitt. Yeah. So I messaged Coach Phillips and I said, what is this? He said he has left for Dalton. So wish him well. We are going to have Coach Phillips on late January, close to February, because they're in the thick of the basketball season. We're going to have him on to talk about it, though. But wanted to just throw that in there also because, we're really good friends with Roswell High School. So then, all right, we've already talked about Indiana Notre Dame game. Matt, I'm going to ask you about this next game. I'm going to ask you about, and you're going to give me your prediction as to who wins and why, real quick. SMU and Penn State.
I'm gonna go with Penn State here, man. I think Penn State wins 128-23.
See, and I'm actually gonna say SMU wins because James Franklin's like 0-16, or he's never won I don't even remember the number. They said it on game day recently when they were doing the Big Ten game against Oregon. They said that James Franklin has never won a meaningful big game. I think they were like 0-15, 0-16, something like that. I think SMU actually wins this game. I say 27-24. What do you think, Shane?
I wouldn't be surprised if Penn State doesn't make it all the way. They have the talent,
Really?
they have the team. This is going to be this first game out is going to, set the tone. They have a decent way to the playoff. What I think as far as the final, semifinal, and final, they would have favorable matchups to their team. SMU, though, don't count them out. I obviously counted them out and actually went to sleep during that ACC championship game.
I think a lot of us did, actually.
Yeah, they paid me back, paid me back by making it a great game that I missed. But, I think that this type of environment kind of gives the edge to Penn State and James Franklin on never winning that big game, because now they can they've got a team that's they're one of the better teams in this bracket that we have, and I think it gives them the ammunition to say, hey, we've never done it, why not us now? So
I like that. I like that approach.
Penn State does it, and it could get ugly just because of Penn State's defense. I think that they're one of the better defenses in the bracket. Indiana is one of my favorite defenses in this playoff bracket as well. Of course, we're going to put Georgia in there as one of the greatest defenses. I've still got so many questions about Oregon's defense. But,
you're right.
Hear everything about their offense, but their defense obviously has played good this year from not losing a game. So,
you're right.
But I think this might be the situation where that big game question gets answered for James Franklin, and I think that they could take that momentum after one win and possibly take it on throughout and maybe win the whole damn thing.
That's a possibility, All right, so the next game, I'm going to start with you on this, Shane, and then I'm going to go to Matt. Clemson and Texas. They're playing at Austin, which is both a home game for Cade Klubnik as well, because remember, Cade and Quinn Ewers, I think they played against each other in the state high school championship from what ESPN was saying.
Yeah, they did.
So what do you think?
I think this is going to be a good game. I think Texas wins the national championship if they put Manning in at quarterback. They are a completely different, more versatile team on offense with him in at quarterback. Ewers being hurt and everything else. I'm a true believer in what Manning's put on the field this year for them and where they are. They need to do it to increase their chances, especially, you give coaching staffs 2 weeks to prepare for a game. They're going to, Clemson's, their coaching staff and stuff, the way Dabo runs that program, there's a certain amount of consistency. So although the coaches have changed, the consistency has still been there on their practices and everything else. So, we'll see. I mean, the first half of the Georgia game was close, but, beginning of the season, Georgia's, heads above the rest of everybody else.
Yep.
I think it's going to be.
What do you think the score will be then?
I think Texas sneaks it out late.
Ooh, I like that. All right. So I don't know if this is true. Correct me if I'm wrong, Shane. Correct me if I'm wrong, Matt. I saw a report on Twitter. I don't know if it's true again. Did Dabo Swinney really get 2 players from the transfer portal?
Yeah, that's what I heard. I heard Dabo Swinney actually got players from the transfer portal. I've actually heard.
God, wow, that's a shocker. there in itself that Dabo even touched the transfer portal. Hey, I really want to quickly let you guys know also the current punter is in his final year of eligibility in college. Aiden, I think his name is Swanson for Clemson. He will be joining our show in mid-January as well. He has agreed to come on. I talked to him. He's agreed to come on. So quickly let you know. All right, Matt, so I'm going to ask you as well. Clemson, Texas.
I think Texas pulls this one out, man. I think Texas is just going to bully Clemson in the trenches. The offensive line is going to bully Clemson's defensive line, and I think Texas's defensive line is going to bully Clemson's offensive line. It all depends on Cade Klubnik, though, man. Are we going to get the good kid or the bad kid? Which one are we going to get? But I have Texas winning this one, man, 31-17.
You just hit the nail on the head. It really is which Cade is going to show up. If Cade Klubnik, who showed up in game 1 against Alabama, shows up, Texas is going to, as you say, Matt, mollywop the heck out of Clemson, like 47 or 48-10 kind of thing. But if the Cade Klubnik, who came out red hot against App State, what was it, like 35-0 in the first quarter against App State, if he comes out like that, it's going to be an interesting, really neck and neck kind of game. I do, Cassie asked me if this would be really considered an upset. I said absolutely would. Clemson kind of everybody said this, they backdoored themselves into the ACC championship thanks to Syracuse. They won on a hope and prayer, the longest field goal ever made in ACC championship history, and a 56-yarder, which they were doing the damn thing the first half against SMU. They took their foot off the gas. SMU came back. Really shouldn't have been that way, but I think Texas is going to win 38-31 is my kind of prediction. But again, you're right though, Matt. If Cade Klubnik comes out the way he played against Georgia in game 1, oh no. And you hit the nail on the head too. If Arch Manning is over, say Quinn Ewers comes out, he is like so cold, and because his ankle's really painful and can barely plant the throw, and they put Arch in, I think Arch will pick apart Clemson's defense left and right. And again, it really does rely also on Cade. If the good Cade comes in and shows out, it's going to be a close game. Texas still wins. If the bad Cade comes out and he does not show up, it's going to be a Texas in a large way. But regardless, I think Texas dominates. All right, so the next game I'm going to ask is Tennessee and Ohio State. I'm going to start with you, Matt.
Ooh, this is going to be a good one because it really depends on Tennessee's quarterback. I can't pronounce
Malave or whatever.
I can't pronounce his last name at all. But
it's like Malave.
It really depends on him. But at the same time, man, I think Ohio State's going to come out and bully him. But I'm referring back to when Tennessee, when they played UG, and they gave UJ fits. But I think Ohio State's going to come out. They're going to handle business. I have Ohio State winning this one pretty handily, though. Give me 38-21. Ohio State.
Do you think this victory saves Ryan Day's job or no?
I think his job is safe anyway, man. He just can't beat Michigan.
No, he can't.
It's just that's that. I understand that's a problem, but I think he will eventually get over that hump.
All right, Shane, I'm gonna ask you. You got, and I want you to give me your score prediction. But Tennessee and Ohio State, and then also I'm gonna ask you the same question about if this win saves Ryan Day's job or no.
Well, I tell you, I've been sharing it all week. University of Tennessee fans are
you sent me that picture, by the way.
Are ruthless. I mean, this guy spent I don't know how much money, but he picked every Waffle House in Columbus, Ohio, and played Rocky Top for 8 straight hours.
Did you see that, Matt?
No, I did not see that.
Oh my God, Shane sent that to me.
Did that, and then even on Apple Maps, Wikipedia they first did it with Wikipedia, but they named the horseshoe Neyland North,
like Neyland Stadium. They are relentless.
And they said they didn't want to plant a flag out there. They wanted to bring like however many fans they got, like 30,000 fans. They want each one of them to bring a little a little hand flag, and zip tie it to the handrails, so that way all it is just flags around the stadium. One person said, don't plant the flag or anything. Just throw baby shoes at Ohio State if they lose, because they're the SEC's little brother.
I like it.
I think it's going to be a game of attrition, in my opinion. Tennessee is sneakily a great team on the offensive line. They've got some big boys there. Their system's not set up to run the ball, but they can run the ball if they need to.
I like it.
I'm looking at a 17-14 game with Tennessee doing it. I don't have a lot of faith in Ohio State. They played great against Oregon, but really, they've run up the score late against some of the better teams, like the Indiana game. They ran that score up late, to actually make it what it was. As far as Ryan Day, if he doesn't win the national championship, I think he's done. You've got,
I like that. I like the analogy, actually.
Too much, if you can't beat Michigan for 3-4 years straight now.
4 years now.
Yeah, 4 years straight. Tressel lost to him twice and got out of there.
Yeah. Hey, I'll be right back. My wife was calling me. Matt, after Shane answers, you go. I'm gonna put my computer on mute real quick because I gotta go and help her real quick. Okay.
I did thing, man.
Yeah, but I think Vrabel gets the job there, and as we've seen and we've talked about here lately, we're talking about NFL talent, NFL coaches coming down to the college ranks, and dealing with the kids. I think the way that it's gone with NIL, that's what everybody's going to start doing, especially on this top tier of teams, because they've got a sense for the business of football, not just the play of football. So I think the day's done. If he doesn't win the national championship.
Yeah. I mean, I can definitely see that happening. Just an update, man. Notre Dame is up 14-0 on Indiana. They're up 14-0, top of the second. All right.
And scored on their one true drive of the game, though. So.
So I mean, the winner of Notre Dame and Indiana, they have to see UGA here. So I don't know, man. Do you see Notre Dame or Indiana, either one of those teams, being able to kind of knock down Georgia? Especially with the quarterback situation with Gunnar Stockton at the helm now.
I'll tell you, I like Gunnar.
Yeah.
From what I saw from him in the second half of that Texas game, that is your future. It's bad luck for Carson Beck, what he's having to go through. But as I said, it might be the Cavalier curse.
Yeah.
But I think that if any other team in this playoff were to go into a situation with a backup quarterback, the only two teams that I think could make it would be Texas and Georgia, because their backup quarterbacks. Carson Beck's a talent, but I mean, Gunnar. I liked Gunnar before. Because he actually was more of a prototypical Georgia quarterback.
Yeah, he was. He is.
He's a great game manager, but a sneaky athlete.
Yes.
But I think that Georgia's going to be all right, and whoever they play in this game. Right now,
this is for you, Shane.
They've already made a parade route too, because they said that it would be this far from taking the goalpost down in the horseshoe to the Ohio River, or whichever one's right there, Columbus River or something like that. And it's not even a quarter of what the Tennessee fans did before.
And then this also is from Trey. Says Gunnar Stockton originally committed to the Gamecocks before flipping to UGA. Is that correct, Shane?
Yeah, that is correct. I think he probably saw what was going to happen with Lenore's.
Oh yeah.
Because I think they were same class, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, if you want to talk about it, right now I'm not a bet man, but you give me 80,000, plus 80,000 on Lenore Sellers as a Heisman next year. I'm going to go ahead and put a $5 bet down to win me 40 grand or something like that, because he is that caliber of an athlete. And they're just kind of gaining right now. South Carolina, they got a couple of Alabama transfer portal athletes coming in this weekend. One of them being Haynes. And if they get Haynes, you thought Rocket Sanders was dangerous in that backfield with Lenore Sellers. You've got another year of Lenore Sellers, and you've got
not the boy from Georgia Tech, Matt, is it?
No.
Okay. Running back from Alabama.
Oh,
Haynes
I was about to say, what is it? Because there's a Haynes brothers at Georgia Tech.
Oh, no, not the garbage quarterback. I mean, not the
wait, you heard that, man?
After that fumble in the fourth quarter with 2 minutes left to go to give UGA the ball, you know what?
All right, so I want to quickly apologize to everybody. Sorry, you have she's literally 3 days away from being a 5-month-old. She was not a happy camper. So, all right, so I want to quickly mention this one because we're coming close to the end of our show for the night. Our good friend Dan Scott, he has just posted his current position in Boston, Massachusetts. As you know, Furman has traveled to Boston, Cambridge to play Harvard at Harvard. It is currently snowing like crazy in Boston. We want to quickly give Dan and Furman, as you know, we had Bob Ritchie on the show recently. I think it was a couple episodes ago. He was on, and we're cheering on Furman to go 12-1 this weekend after that game. All right, guys, this has been a fulfilling episode. I rather enjoyed it. And I thought it was a fumble. A really good episode. I've thoroughly enjoyed this year. It's his year. We're coming to the end of year 1 officially for the Sportz Nutz. But this is we have one episode left of 2024 and season 2 of the Sportz Nutz. I'm going to start with you, Shane. Give us your memorable moments from the first episode. It could be from the first time you came on as a Sportz Nut to now. Like, what was your favorite memories?
Man, definitely that first episode. I got your number and was told just kind of watch and stuff, and then me and you got talking, and man, it we just clicked on what we were talking about. So that was very memorable. There's been so many memorable moments. I'm going to go ahead and put kind of doing a whole kind of life 360 is what you would call it, I guess. Not the locator app. Or anything like that. But that first episode I came on, and then finally getting settled in on after some major life changes, stuff like that, and then being able to be accepted back on with you guys, man, it's just a whole kind of a whole life world 360. It all comes back in the end, and the good Lord puts you in the great spots. You got to listen to him, and this is where he's kind of put me right now, and I'm just happy to be here, and hope everybody stays blessed out there for their holidays and stay safe in all their travels.
Amen to that one. Look, guys, if you don't know, Shane was obviously the Low Country, South Carolina.
Not necessarily. I was in the
technically.
I was in the sand hills in the PD.
Yeah, so he wasn't too far from the coast, but what too far from the mountains either. He was, all there, and now he is graciously moved up to the upstate of South Carolina. He's only 28 minute total, probably 30 even from here. If Shane puts his foot to the pedal to the metal,
32 with traffic.
Yeah, so he's not too far from here. So we're definitely glad to have you on. Matt, I'm going to ask you, from your first episode to today, even, what is your most favorite memorable moment or moments that you've had with the Sportz Nuts?
Oh man, that's a good one, man. That's a good one. I don't know, man. I mean, I've enjoyed every episode, man. Every episode. Well, the latest episode is always, the best episode for me personally because I feel, you know, it feels more comfortable. But I remember my first time coming on with you guys, man. I was a little nervous, I didn't know I was over talking you guys, and I just didn't know how to say or pretty much say or speak what I needed to speak. So, and like I said, I was kind of nervous and I just didn't want to step on any toes. So I remember my first time getting on and talking sports. Definitely was nervous. I thought I was stammering over my words a bit, but we got through it. We got through it, man. I remember Drenny, you texted me and you was like, "Good job, man. Good job." So, man, I remember that. So, it's just been all fun from here on out. You meet a lot of new people. You get to see and talk to athletes who you watched on TV or who you've seen on TV. Like I never would have thought in a million years I would talk to Ashley Lele or things like that, man. And I've seen him play all those years ago. I've never thought I would talk to Brian Kajiyama. I've seen that special so many years ago. So it's just new adventures, man. New adventures that I enjoy.
Absolutely, and I do got to let you know, Devon Bess, who played for the Miami Dolphins, he is going to be coming on mid-January as well. So I've been in communications with him. He will be gracing the Sportz Nuts with his presence. That's going to be cool to have him along. I have been trying to work my hardest to get Mohamed Sanu. Look, Mohamed Sanu, new as I've been calling him, he is hard to really get involved with stuff. Hopefully I get him on. I've been working hard. So I gotta say, since day one of doing this to today, episode officially 66, but I think it's like 115 or like all the videos and shorts and tidbits and whatever we put on there, in general. But I would have to say my favorite moments would definitely be I really was over the hill Kitty moment when Craig Angeles came on from Hawaii.
Yeah,
it was really cool to get him on, and we hit that. The fact that we're at 7.3 million just on that episode is I'm beyond excited. And thanks to this guy right here, folks, for asking that question about Nike. But in general, all of us. Yes, I got excited when he said it, but all of us. We did a phenomenal thing getting him to let us know before any media outlet knew that we got the information that Hawaii was going to. Nike is exciting, from having Maddie from Tulane, from having Jason from Sam Houston State. Heck, I even enjoyed having the Carolina Disco Turkeys on. I still gotta say that was actually one of the coolest names. Is the Disco Turkeys. Let's see, obviously we had the general manager Pete from the Columbus Clingstones, the AA affiliate of the Atlanta Braves, formerly Mississippi Braves. We had him on. It was great. It was really cool. Also, I really enjoyed Matt. Do you remember we had Jim Leonetti on from D&J Glover Pair?
Yes.
I really enjoyed having that. Shane, you weren't with us at the time.
I hate I missed it. But I'm a big true believer. Like I've missed my baseball gloves. Like
oh my God,
I completely miss them. I mean, they were part of my life. I played multiple different spots. So I mean, I had a catcher's mitt, first baseman's mitt, outfield glove, infield glove.
And you don't have your gloves still?
They're somewhere.
I'll find them. But here's my chance, and I gotta thank my wife Cassie for this. And Shane, this was actually really cool. He came on. It was a feel-good story for NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt, and they did a story on him. And he is a former retired mail carrier who had a passion for fixing gloves, and he did it with his son. And NBC did a story on it. It ballooned like crazy. I think to date it's like 100 million views on that story with NBC, and with us we topped 6,000 views just having him on for that 30-minute episode. It was really cool. I was very honored that he took the time, from his life to come in to join us for 30 minutes. It was very humbling, very honored. So I really enjoyed having that. I really enjoyed what we've done so far with the South Carolina Ravens, having us be the official podcast of them. I'm really excited about that and the future that's going to come about with the Ravens. I enjoyed having everybody who's been a part of this team, but I have to go back, and this guy right here, I've known for over 20 years. Yes, I just aged us again, folks, but Matt and I have known each other for a long time. I still can remember the day Brian told me Matt played for the Atlanta Hawks. And, I'm glad Brian told me about you, Matt. And we've been friends for a long time. I've really enjoyed having you on this year and what you've done for the show. I'm not gonna cry.
Trips to Florida.
Yes, the trip to Florida. Jeez. Wait. No, it's even better was the middle. What freeway? What is the freeway down that I slammed my brakes in the middle of the road?
I don't know, but slamming on brakes, get out the car.
Slamming on a brake, get out of the car, and hearing Vince call me a dweeb. Oh my god.
About to fight. This is ridiculous.
Wait, and then I remember my favorite with Matt was Mercedes, the Ford Escape. Was it? No, Ford Focus.
White Ford Focus.
Yes, he and Shane, the funny story is Matt drove, he had worked and then had like 3 Red Bulls and 2 5-hour energy drinks or whatever. And he drove his butt from like Norcross, Georgia, all the way down to St. Petersburg, Florida in like a nighttime. He got there. He stayed up the whole day. He did stuff with me, Vince, Tim. There was one other person, wasn't there?
I think so.
Yeah, there was one other person and then him.
Ragged out that night.
Dude, and so I made the idiotic mistake of having Matt bunk with me, right? So I have to have a box fan for a white noise, so because I grind my teeth real bad, right? And you want to talk about who snores louder than a freaking freight train on a Monday morning? This guy right here vibrated the room. I think I threw like 5 pillows at him. He goes, "Thanks for the pillow," and he's like, bunched every pillow around him. And I'm like, dude, you're still snoring. Shut up.
Oh, man. I got a good story. One of my best buddies, man, B-Mac, God rest his soul, passed away a couple years ago. But, man, we were at my barber, Lacey. We were up at his place when he got a place up in the Indian Trail right outside of Charlotte. And, boy, we stayed up all night drinking wine, ordering good chicken wings, stuff like that, just enjoying the company. And, man, this man falls asleep on the floor, and it vibrates. Like, I think Lacey said he got complaints from the neighbors for like 2 weeks about it. But, man, this guy, he could snore standing up fully awake sometimes. But, man, he's a great guy, but, great memories, especially when you get those snores, man, they tend to stick with you.
Yes, Matt, and then Matt and me and Tim and Vince, and I can't remember who the 4th person was that went with us. We went to the beach. We spent a good 3-4 hours at the beach, just relaxing. And I kid you not, it was literally like night and day between Vince and I that night. Like the day before, we were at each other's throats. The next day, like 2. What was it? What is 4? 2? Peas and carrots. Like, I had no problem. Forrest Gump said that, no problem whatsoever. And Vince and I were good. And I can remember Matt saying, "Chill out, Brandon. Chill out, Vince." And like, he's literally standing between Vince and I in the freaking freeway, and we're about ready to kill each other.
Rush hour traffic.
Yes. People are behind us honking at us. and Matt's like, "Dude, you can't get out in the middle of the road and don't get people to honk at you. This is Florida. People can kill each other for whatever reason," is what Matt said. So it was funny.
Yeah,
but
Florida's a different breed.
Yes, it is. But, we've had such great times, and I can remember when I first had you come on, Shane. I had a blast. I was like, this guy is legit. I enjoy talking with him. I'm comfortable, and I had so much fun. Still have fun. My girls, as you know, they get excited, which you're supposed to be coming tomorrow.
Yes. I
to see Addison.
I hope. It depends on if me and my sister can get everything wrapped tonight and everything off this table, so I can just go there early and then come back and get that table done. because I got to get that done because, hey, my cousin's waiting on the other table down in Charleston.
So for whatever, if you're wondering what it is, my daughter Addison starts her basketball season journey basically tomorrow. They have 2 games. They have one at 9 and then one at 9:40. It's the championship tournament. We've had 2 scrimmages. The first one blew it out the water. Like it was like 33-10. And then the scrimmage last night it was not as good. They won by like 2 points, but they were missing one of their players because the other player was ill. But you can definitely see they're starting to gel better together. Yeah. I'm super proud of these girls.
Good.
I really think I told Coach Channing, I said I could realistically I see this team being a 5-5, but I would not put it past them to be 7-3. They really are that good. So the team name is the Dominators. So if you guys can, please say go Dominators for my daughter Addison. She greatly appreciate it. Hey, Matt, I'm going to do this for you tonight. You got to lead us off with our special shout out to Tequilas.
Yes, whenever you guys are, down there in Easley, South Carolina, go ahead and, stop by Tequilas, so special, thanks to, Tequilas Grill in Easley, South Carolina. Make sure you follow them on Facebook and stop by for some good, affordable, delicious Mexican cuisine. My favorite dish is everything on the menu. Brandon eats, just as much as I do. He just doesn't like to admit it. I saw Shane put that on as well. So,
wow. I put down a little bit at a time. Normally
a little bit at a time while me and Brandon
home.
Yeah. Food does not escape the grasp of Brandon and I. So easily go ahead and go down to Tequilas. Call them today, 864-307-8028.
Better yet, stop them by 5155 Calhoun Memorial Highway. That's Easley, South Carolina, 29640. Guys, so Tuesday's episode, we're gonna have a hosh posh, a bunch of like knick-knack things we're gonna talk about, just random things. Brian Kajiyama might stop by to wish everybody a Merry Christmas. Of course, in Hawaii, it's Mele Kalikimaka, which means Merry Christmas in Hawaiian. We might have him. I'm gonna try and get some other people just to quickly come on and wish you guys Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. And just know, Season 3 is knocking on that door. January 3rd, it starts back up. New intro, new outro video. Look, you see these 3 beautiful faces on your screen. We're going to have even bigger guests. We're going to have it all over. We will be going hard-nosed for the Ravens as well. What else?
You're stretching it with that beautiful faces.
Okay, so it's going to be that beautiful face.
Maybe Matt.
And that beautiful face. Not this beautiful. No,
I'll assume the responsibility of carrying the weight of having a beautiful face.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Lord.
I try to grow facial hair just to hide the ugly.
Oh, my God. Oh, whatever. You know what?
For all the loyal listeners that have been listening since day one around there, you will notice that this guy down here, he's the one that had massive beard.
He had the Duck Dynasty beard, folks. Which, Shane, you need to grow that back out, man.
Well, I kind of waited a little late to start kind of growing it back. So I'm trying out little half handlebars there for a little while. Let's see how it does.
Yeah. Twist them up?
No. No. I'm not that bougie.
Look, guys, we've bent your ear for an hour and 44 minutes. We really have had a lot of fun. We enjoyed the 72 people who did max out tonight with us. We really appreciate it. Right now, we're at 22. So, guys, you guys have listened to us long enough. It is Friday night. You're literally about to hear Christmas left and right. Look, I don't know if you guys could hear Santa snoring. I'm going to kind of zoom in and pan up, maybe. Yeah, I'm going to pan down. That animatronic Santa Claus right there, guys. Wow. My grandpa. Papa gave it to us in 1991, and that sucker still works 33 years later, still snores and still inflates and deflates. Love it. So, with that being said, guys.
So does this one. Well, hold on. I get you a better view. So does that one. She's been snoring the whole time.
But you know what, though? Lily, she can do whatever she want to do. She's the bomb. Guys, we've had so much fun with you. Tuesday will be at Christmas Eve. Will be the final episode of season 2. We will still post things. Absolutely. We'll still go to places. Matt is working on trying to get us some sponsors in the ATL area. So if you know any places, or if you have a business that you want us that would like to sponsor us, let us know. Reach out to Matt. Reach out to myself. Reach out to Shane. Dadgummit. We will welcome any and everybody who would like to sponsor us. It doesn't necessarily have to be monetary. It can be like a discretionary. It can be like a coupon code for a restaurant or whatever. We do get 20% off at tequilas. That's a pretty good deal for us. So, do something similar like that. Whatever we can, we would love to have you be a part of the Sportz Nutz. So, guys, with that being said, Shane, what do you tell these lovely people?
Hey, man. First off, I want to wish everybody out there that follows, likes, subscribes, and shares. Like we always say, just look forward to this 2025 season that we have coming on. Check us out Christmas Eve. I'm going to say it, for the ones that possibly are busy with family and stuff like that on Christmas Eve, can't check us out. I wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year. I can't wait for the things that come in 2025. Like you say, we're just on the ground level. We're fixing to take off like a ship kind of deal. Just want to remind everybody of the reason why we celebrate, and the faith that we have, for the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, who was born into us on this great Christmas tradition that we celebrate. As always, can't wait for the future, especially next year. It's going to be fun. But peace, love, and bacon grease, guys.
Amen to that. We had a good friend, Mark Vaughn. Check his story out, guys, if you can. Great reason for divine intervention and truly there. Matt, we tell everybody every episode, don't get flagged, but the floor is yours. Tell everybody your shout outs and then your favorite. Don't get flagged.
Yeah, man. Just, everybody out there, guys. Just, shout out to everybody out there listening. Everybody out there had anything positive to say about us. Anybody out there who's giving us a thumbs up, and to those who's also giving us a thumbs down, man. We know you do it because you're jealous. It's okay.
Yes.
First of all, just thanks to everybody out there, man. Thank you for listening to us. But also, with that being said, this holidays are coming up. Cold outside, depending on where you live, but naturally it's cold outside. Just the traffic is bad, so you're gonna be sitting there bumper to bumper to traffic no matter where you go. Just wait till you get home before you pop open that drink, And when you do pop open that drink, if you happen to do it, just call an Uber. Just get home safely.
Call him.
Ride share's too easy now.
Yes, and when we say don't get flagged, we mean don't go out there and do something stupid that will require that comes with the violation. Violation being a ticket, or a violation being a mugshot. So just keep it safe, guys, and get home safely. Get home back home to your loved ones. We've all lost too many people doing dumb stuff. Don't be one of those people.
And you don't want to have a free stay at a 4x4 jail cell.
Hey, it's not fun in there. It's not fun.
4x8. They're 4x8 now.
4x8 now. Sorry, 4x8. You don't want to go sit in a 4x8 hotel room.
I will say, Brandon. I never told you before. I never told you this, Brandon, before. I used to work in Atlanta, staffing hotels with housekeepers and things like that, and I had a company car. Well, they forgot to renew the insurance on the company car one time, and I was in Stone Mountain. Blah blah blah. I had one of my I work for a temp agency. I had one of the employees with me, taking him to a hotel in Stone Mountain. We get pulled over. They found a little bit of the weed on him, just a little bit on him, and plus the car insurance had, lapsed.
Oh boy! Car insurance. Hey,
so you had to go to Stone Mountain jail.
I had to go to
DeKalb County, County Jail, Memorial Highway.
Thankfully, I was only in the holding cell, but dog, that opened my eyes. First of all, you get inside, there's one toilet right there. There's a toilet right over there in the room. And man, some people had
12 people in there, 40 people sometimes.
How many did you have in the cell with?
I was in Brandon. I did time. I did some heavy time. I did a whole 8. I did a whole 8 hours, man. I did a whole 8 hours. I mean, no regard for human life. Guys sitting on that toilet, no regard for human life. When they feed you, they feed you bread with peanut butter in a packet. So you have to squeeze the packet out. I remember I squeeze my packet out, and the peanut butter comes out like it's liquid water. I'm looking at this like, ugh. Some guy comes to me, "You gonna eat that?" I said, "Man,
no,
I've had it, brother. It's all yours. I didn't eat a thing." The place was so. There was so many people in that place. They forgot to check me, and I went into the cell with my wallet, and I had my wallet on me, and I had my phone on me, and I'm sitting here the whole time like, dang, if I pull my wallet, if I pull my wallet and my phone out, people are gonna. They're gonna ask me to use my phone. I said, "Nah."
I gotta call somebody.
At least you didn't make it to breakfast, though, because at breakfast they serve you powdered eggs.
Oh my God!
The only thing that's good is toast, the jelly, and the butter, because they come. You can't mess up toast, really. But the butter and the jelly come in a prepackaged thing. But it was like powdered eggs, ice cold grits.
Oh.
So I hate to point out the obvious, but Shane, does it sound like you had an extended stay before?
Not an extended stay. It was extended to that 8 hours, but it was a little bit longer than 8 hours because there was like 24 of us that got arrested at one time back in the college.
I unfortunately had to do an extended stay in Gwinnett County for 8 days.
Luxurious suite. He had the luxurious suite.
Matt might remember this actually. It was May of 2008. It was when I was officially diagnosed with bipolar disorder. The Duluth police had said this is the only way you can get him help is because he pushed your stepdad. Therefore, if you press charges, we can get him the help he needs. Blah blah blah. Yeah, I spent 8 days at Gwinnett County, and by the way, I had to get moved out of my original holding cell because they brought a serial murderer into that jail. And I'm like, I'm not going to that cell over there. Hell no. Yeah. Don't recommend, guys. Don't do something stupid.
Yeah,
look,
you don't want to go there, guys. Trust me. I've been
you don't want to go there.
Don't do that.
Yeah, me and Shane been there for a combined 16 hours. Brandon.
No. I did 16 hours straight.
No.
32
so
for you guys.
we a whole day in.
24.
Collectively, our whole 24 in. Brandon's like he's been there for a couple of months. I don't know. I ain't know all that.
Hey, but jail's always different than the pen. Jail's always different than the pen.
Yeah. So all right, that's where that tattoo came from, huh, Brandon?
You know what?
That old pen marker.
I knew it, damn it. Quit talking about no. All right, real quickly, give a shout out to our comments here. Nick Bungalow, happy Friday, boys. Happy early Christmas. Wish you family happiness and health and love. This is Nick Bungalow from Toronto, Canada. Hey, our good friend Trey Davis. He had said Austin is a happening place. Whoever this Ben Blaylock guy is, I've seen his comment before. Ben, whoever you are, man, send Matt or me a message or Shane, somebody. We would love to know how you found our show because I've shown Matt, you had like 4 comments before. Whoever you are, man, thank you for commenting. It says, hey, guys, hope you guys have a great holiday season. I'm glad you are talking about Ravens. So I guess which Ravens are we talking about? The South Carolina Ravens? Baltimore? Who are we talking about? You know, man?
I think B-more. I think B-more. I think that came across when we were talking about Baltimore.
Oh, okay. Well, hey, I'm okay. Whoever, if you know what? Hey, Ben, if you know how the sports scene is in Maryland, Shane mentioned the Baltimore Orioles. I don't know much about Baltimore scene, but I did give a shout out to my brother-in-law Zane if he wants to come on. If Ben, let us know like what the life is like at Baltimore.
Must be nice.
Seriously, whoever you found, how you found us.
Must
and
be
if,
nice
if you get tickets to Camden Yards, I want to go. That's one of my ballparks that I want to go.
So, ironically, Cassie and I, when Cassie was pregnant with Addison, we were up there for Zane and Felicia's wedding. We did what's it called? It's called Camden Yards.
Yeah, Camden Yards. Yeah.
So we went on
between there and the old mill is right field.
So we went on the tour of the ball field. It was really pretty. They showed us the spot where, Ken Griffey Jr. hit the longest home run ever at the park and hit off the wall. It was really cool. So, again, Ben, if you live in Baltimore, man, please let one of us know what it's like there. I only know the Orioles and the Ravens. I don't know anybody else. If there's any more sports teams, let us know. We'd love to talk to them. Our good friend Blaze Smith. Hey, Brandon, Matt, and the Sportz Nutz. Blaze, thank you for tuning in, guys. He has his own show called the Yanny Sports Podcast. Check it out. Really good. This is Coach Rod from the South Carolina Ravens. That little share he gave there is actually to his Facebook page, reminding us about the Shrine Bowl of the Carolinas. And then we had Trey Davis chimed in, asking a question about Mason Graham or Abdul. Who are they, Matt? Do you know who they are?
Is the D tackle for Michigan, I believe. The big guy in the middle. Dude is a beast.
55.
Who's Abdul Carter for?
I think it's a defensive end for Penn State, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but I know Mason Graham is a beast. I know that.
Abdul Carter is probably going to be the top edge rusher / outside linebacker that you're going to see taken in this draft. Graham, I believe he's number 55, 56. He's been one of those guys that's been a great he's a great 3-4 defensive end, but a great speed rush guy on a 4-3 squad for a defensive tackle. So, I mean, and like I said, the Panthers got to get it done in the trenches.
Yeah, but Graham is one of the reasons why Ohio State can't beat Michigan.
And then Trey again chimed in and said, James Franklin is massively overrated. The current Vandy coach has accomplished more than Franklin. Yes, that is true. I hope I'm wrong because Vandy coach, Vanderbilt in general, even years, they do good. Odd years, they absolutely suck.
Yeah, you've been saying that all year.
Next year is an odd year. Let's see if that trend ends. And then Trey said Penn State played Oregon closer than I thought they would in the big. Yes, I was actually really surprised at how Penn State played Oregon. The way Oregon came out at start, I really thought Oregon was going to run away with it left and right, and then Penn State said, "Hold my beer." Trey also said,
"Defense."
Yep. Trey did say, "Any chance the Tennessee fans take the goalpost and throw it in the river near Ohio Stadium?" You heard Shane say there's a possibility. Look, and then last but not least, Trey did say Gunnar Stockton originally committed to the Gamecocks before flipping to UGA. It's been a whirlwind. Look,
I mean, awesome name though. Awesome name, Gunnar Stockton. That's an awesome name. Man.
Oh yeah. I saw Stockton. I said that ain't John's boy, is it?
Nah.
Wait, isn't there like a player whose name was like Cutter Woods or something like that?
Yeah, that's the one that I was talking about. He's sitting out in the Shrine Bowl.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Committed to South Carolina as a quarterback, though. Committed to South Carolina as a quarterback. Of course, like I said, Lenore's maybe Heisman worthy this year and could be on the chopping block to go out with the draft. They strike while it's hot.
That's right. You have to. And you heard it from him first. Matt told you about the sleeper app last time, so you have your advanced information right there. Matt, congratulations on your fantasy pick, your fantasy draft, whatever. You know what? It's okay. I'll get you next year.
I might lose in the first round of the playoffs, though, man. ESPN in the playoffs, they're like 2 weeks. I might lose.
2 weeks. Yeah.
Dude I played against came out and his team went crazy. So yeah, I might lose, but oh well.
Hey, so congratulations, better than both mine and Shane's team. That's for darn sure.
Hey man, things happen, guys.
Hey, I'm winning right now, bro. Gus Edwards came through in clutch with like 20 points last night for me. So
yeah.
I don't even know who I'm playing this week. I really don't give a darn. You know what? Actually, I'm gonna look right now.
You ain't playing nobody, Brandon. You're done. Your team is done. You're in the Constellation Bowl, brother. You're done.
He was in the Constellation Bowl. He's the last. I was above him.
Hey, a win's a win. A win's a win.
All right. I'm playing against Blaze, actually, folks.
Hey, at least if I know I win this one, I didn't come in last.
That's true.
Let's take a look at the standings before. So right now, Shane is in dead last. And then who is CPU team? Oh, that's JD's team. Yeah. So he's the second last, right? He's 4-10. Shane's 3-11. I'm 5-9. Haha. So I can't finish dead last. Booyah.
Yeah, you can. You can finish dead last if you lose out in there and they win. Yeah, and you finish dead last.
Yeah.
Buddy.
Oh yeah.
I will beat
against each other. So
I will beat.
Like hand right now.
I will win. Brandon will win. I'm playing against Blaze. Sorry, Blaze, you're going down, brother. Take it out. Go down. All right, guys. We've been bent you guys long enough. 2 hours. It's a heck of a ride. That being said, for our good friend Matt, who's telling you don't get flagged. For our good friend, peace, love, and bacon grease. Look, we will be back with you Christmas Eve. It's going to be an earlier episode because it is Christmas Eve. Family time is important. The time is TBD, to be determined. We will post it very soon, probably the next day or so, what the time will be. But just stay tuned for that. That being said, guys, you guys have a wonderful evening. Have a great weekend. Look, it's supposed to rain this weekend for some. Going to be cold here, and then warm, and then go back to cold. So enjoy some football, have fun with family, and we'll talk to you later.
All right, guys.
Y'all take care. Good night. Well, he just did. He just scored 8 points. That's the thing. He had a career